Hello, hi, and welcome to whatever this is going to be today. So today I'm going to do the thing that I said I was going to do yesterday that I didn't end up doing yesterday. And it's early enough that I have some indirect natural light. So I don't want to turn the lamp on quite yet unless it gets like darker. But I'm also like closer. I'm the same distance, but chemically I'm closer and more centered the screen. It's still a little off putting, but I'm kind of getting used to it. So, one second. So let me pull this up. I thought it was. That's fine. So, excuse me. Excuse me. Hey, Holly. Good morning. How are you doing? I've already shuffled the energy oracle cards and the gilded Lenormand reverie. Yeah, the Gilded Reverie Lenormand. I almost said the Mirror Truth Lenormand, but I'm not using the Mirror Truth. Hey, Sandra, how you doing today? Uh, these cards are so small and hard to stuff. Oh my gosh, the Knight of Wands. Or no, this is the Knight of Cups. I'm gonna have to turn it on. No. Let me see. Oh, this is already open. Yeah, this is already open. And it's not quite noon yet, so the sun is more this way, I think. Fine. Do you need to see the cards? Do y'all need to see the cards or no? um, maybe I won't turn it up all the way. I'm actually listening to something today. Wait, what? Oh, I was looking at the emojis, and I was like, oh, Olive, got it. Maybe I can do this. It does nothing. You do nothing. Do you do nothing? Oh gosh, you'll do that, but I can't remember if I like warmer or cooler. Oh, I like cooler light. You're something. Well, I hope you're doing something better. Okay. I mean, it's not that I'm uncomfortable. It's just that I was really excited to have some natural light. Maybe I'll just go outside tomorrow. If I wake up early enough before the bees get to work, then I can go on the porch. Is this judgement? Yeah, now you can see the card. I don't know why. I knew this wasn't working. It doesn't like dim, and it's supposed to be dimmable. Like this is 2%. Oh, it is dimming. Barely. Okay. All right, fine. There we go. Mostly natural light, but with enough over here for you to see the cards. I like that balance. Oh, I thought it was an ad break. Like, when, like, so, like, last night, for the past few nights, I've been using, I'll put on dark screen, thunder, rain, like the white noise or whatever. And then I'll put my TV on a timer to like turn off in an hour or half an hour. But there be some of them are like the binaural beats, and then they have like ad breaks in the middle of it, and it's like I understand from a economic point of view, but it's disrupting the experience that you're generating or trying to create, subliminally programming me while I'm asleep to buy real estate. Oh, the clover in the mountain. All right, so 6 minutes is long enough. Hey, Kirsty, how you doing today? Oh, why are all of these cards so chatty? 22 crossroads. Bottom of the deck is the bear, and then number two, the clover. Under the clover is the sun. This feels like a path of fortune that is like opening after a significant amount of time, like it's thawing. So maybe that's a choice that we haven't been able to make. Oh, and then there's the sexy gentleman. Maybe like a choice we haven't been able to make for a while, or something that's been in the works for a minute that's finally going to present itself. These are shuffled, and I'm going to shuffle them again when I use them. These are shuffled. I think that's it. Maybe I'll use the affirmator's relationship for the one that was like, you are here, hug me. Because they're nice. Oh my goodness. I'll honor it. Attachment. And since this came out, we're just gonna, from the bottom of the deck, 53. I'm looking at this like, there we go. The magician in the mirror, the goddess of the moon, and then our first angel, Archangel Metatron. Am I taking this? Because this attachment, because of these two, and leading to Archangel Uriel with the crown chakra, it's just like, it's with the crossroads, the bear and the clover. When I was like, it's almost like there's this path of fortune that's going to be opening up after quite some time. Like the bear was in hibernation, but now it's out of hibernation. And unfortunately, because of changing atmospheric and climate conditions, things are warming up in places and polar bears have to move. So there's something that's like thawing, something that we're open to now that maybe we weren't before, or it's just taken a significant amount of time for something to come to pass. The magician in the mirror and the goddess of intuition, or the goddess of the moon with this crown chakra here, feels like that's the divine in certain ways, making us, trying to make us aware, especially with these two, of that option, door to romance, of that option that's now viable. And so maybe we're in a creative process, still abiding by old ways of going about things because we may not necessarily know that that pathway is open. And even if we know that that pathway is open, we may not necessarily know all that it brings to the table in terms of what the magician has to work with. So it's like this is the way that we're used to going about manifesting, or this is the way that we are used to things playing out. But it's like our intuition is like shifting higher, different. changing. We're being intuitively led and guided in ways that maybe we weren't before. Maybe you're opening up to a new gift, a new clair. Maybe things are being like redefined. So things that had a certain significance at one point in your life may not be as significant now, or there may be other things that are becoming more significant. Or because of a shift and change, the same sign may sort of change in meaning a little bit. But like with it being the goddess of the moon and the seventh chakra, I know that's like the receiving chakra of the crown, but it's like very high. And they're trying to like again get the magician to notice that like, hey, there's a different set of tools now. So you ain't gotta do that. Or it's like, restrictions have been lifted. You may now magician freely. The financial constraints with the door to personal healing and happiness. Advocate. Yeah, see, this is the door closed attachment when we're used to squeezing stuff through the crack of the door, and now the door is wide open. Um, yeah, okay. 12 minutes. I'm gonna timestamp this. 12 minutes. Oop, oop. Into it. 12 minutes. I love that I can like edit this as I'm live, so I don't have to go back and post. All right. So I'm gonna pull before and after. Maybe I should wait. It's fine. Timestamps are approximations. Y'all probably know that by now. Sometimes they are more exact, but and we're blurring. We're losing focus. Can I put my hand behind my head? Can you see me? I'm gonna look before and after the first two angels. The first angel will be on the right. We're gonna mix it up. Second angel will be on the left. For the two angels that I saw, the painted angels that were blue and gold. Or they had gold wings and a gold trim on the blue, teal, aquamarine, turquoise robes. Then I'm going to pull 75 degrees of Virgo from the Gilded Mini Tarot Royale. And so that's the Ten of Pentacles for the all of Virgo, third decan of Virgo. The Four of Swords for all of Libra, third decan of Libra. And then the Six of Cups for 15, the remaining 15 degrees, the first 15 degrees of Scorpio, which is in the second decan. So 2, 3, 4, first decan cardinal, 5, 6, 7, second, or 2, 3, 4, the three cardinal decans, 5, 6, 7, the three fixed decans, 8, 9, 10, the three mutable decans. That's how I'm doing it. Steph! Hey, hello. When is the wedding, Steph? I was hoping I'd get to see you today. You've been on my mind since last night. So then after that, I'm going to pull before and after the tree and the Lenormand because wood. I thought it said, like, there was a tombstone that said wood, but I thought it said Virgo. I was like, Virgo. And then it said wood. And I have a card with trees on it. So, oh, okay. Oh. I couldn't remember if you said it was in May. Guess I'm pulling from the bottom of the deck. Man, holding Archangel Uriel is here. Again, there it is. Seventh chapter, Archangel Uriel, right at the bottom of the deck. So either way, Uriel is like, yes. So obviously, like this is before. Oh, wait. Wait. So 22 Crossroads was the card that came out, number 22. balance, yin yang, seventh chakra, Archangel Uriel. You dreamt of Archangel Michael last night. Oh, snap. Number 40, 22 is a 4. And then the door to spirit, number 32. So like yin yang, Uriel, door to spirit. Like white. Crazy. Let's see. Second angel. I should probably be wearing my glasses, but that's fine. There's a lot of angels in this deck. I was about to say, how many cards am I gonna go? Oh, I was looking at this card too, and I was like, I think this card has an angel on it. Should I pull this one? Yeah. So number 16, patience. Fifth chakra, Archangel Gabriel. And the healer of the ages, number 51. Under this healer of the ages is first chakra, Archangel Michael. So this establishes this. Ah, all tied up was on the other side. All tied up, and then Archangel Michael with his sword. Hopefully, I mean, Michael is skillful, right? He's not going to accidentally nick you. Or he's trying to cut you free of the ropes. Okay. Ten of Pentacles, Four of Swords, Six of Cups are the cards I'm looking before and after here. I could have used a bigger deck. Actually, I'm going to grab the larger deck. I have enough room for it. Bottom of the deck is the Page of Swords. This Page of Swords keeps coming out lately. The Fool is the top of the deck. So, this is not what I thought it would be, and it's a lot more rhythmic. And I had a dream last night. Like last night and the night before, there have been like so many people in my dreams. Like, or I've dreamt that I'm in like crowded spaces. And there was like a performance. It was like it wasn't like at church, but it was like in a church type environment. Or just like a community, like a community gathering, but not a large community gathering. And there were a series of like skits or performances that like played out. I don't know if it was like real life or something. I guess yeah, it makes me think of that. That's why I got that vibe. So like when I was growing up in church, sometimes they would have skits and stuff that would like sort of mirror like real life events and things and situations, and then like there would be like the resolution, and you'd have the monologues and stuff like that of like the person working through it, and then you'd have the one person in the skit who would be like the representation of like the word from the divine, from God. It's a skit in church, and then there'd be like more life in the skit, and then like it'd reach a conclusion. And so it was kind of like that, but not really. But in the last one, like a whole bunch of people came in, and it was like the last performance. I thought it was over. And towards the climax of the last performance, the last skit, um, a whole bunch of people started coming in, and there was a man and his wife, and she was talking to, or they were talking to somebody else. and his wife wasn't American. Um, and I remember one of the ladies asked her, she was like, "Do you have an American accent that you can use?" And she was just like, "No." And then at that point again, like more and more and more and more and more people were coming, and I'm just like, okay, it's. I thought this was over. It's time for me to go. But there were just like so many people. Why are there so many cars face up? What was I doing? How many final cards did I need? But I don't think like they were all skits. I don't remember what was happening before that. But the last thing that I thought was that skit. And it was about, I can't remember, one of the, they're the same. Oh, wait, is Islam and like being Muslim, like they're the same, right? Because I think in the dream, like one person was like, Islam, and then the other person was like, I'm a Muslim. But it was like religious differences, like they loved each other and they wanted to be together, but there was a history between them, between their religions. And their families didn't necessarily like, they weren't too keen on it. But now I'm like, I think they're the same. I'm ignorant AF, like when it comes to Islam, especially. Because then I'm like, or maybe that's the point now that I'm awake. Like, it's one loving, creative, supreme being that manifests in however many ways for different people across the planet throughout time so that they all have a way to love. I don't know. Anyway, it was weird. It wasn't weird. It was like nice. I was hooked. And then people started coming in, and I'm like, oh gosh, what's happening? This has me cool. All right, back to this. I'm shuffling it up. I'm using the larger deck, same deck, but not the mini because I have a lot of space on the table. I think maybe I was originally going to use a deck that's larger than the Energy Oracle cards. All right, let's give it a cut. I'm looking 10 of Pentacles, 4 of Swords, 6 of Cups. Bottom of the deck is the 2 of Pentacles with the 4 of Pentacles and the 9 of Wands. I'm going to have to be real careful. 4 of Swords is in between the 3 of Pentacles and the World. Am I going to look it up this way? Sure. 10 of Pentacles is in between the Knight of Pentacles and the Hierophant. These are. So on the side of Archangel Gabriel are the majors so far. The minors are on the side of Archangel Uriel. Oh, the moon and the sun are together. Look who's behind the moon and the sun. The Page of Swords. Am I gonna have to like? What's up with this Page of Swords? Now I'm looking for the Six of Cups. Well, there's the Death card. I could have did majors, but I didn't do majors. Seven of Cups almost got me. Six of Cups is in between. Oops, who is this? The Nine of Cups. Six of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. Two of Cups and the Knight of Cups. Again, these are another two cards are on the outside. The Magician is behind that Two of Cups, and the Ace of Cups is behind the Magician. The Lovers is behind that Ace of Cups. So, and then the Four of Wands is behind the Knight of Cups. So, okay. Work. Oh, snap. Oh, wait, I need these. Now I'm going to get before and after the tree. Oh my gosh, again. So the card that came out, number 22, Crossroads. Number 22, Yin Yang. 22, 22. I will honor this. I'll just put you here. So we have the Daybirds, the Woman, and the Bear as the bottom three. The Rider is behind that bear. So, and then the Sexy Woman is behind the Rider. Woman, Bear, Rider, Woman. There we go. I'm looking for the tree. There's the tree. So the magnifying glass, 44. Isn't the man behind the magnifying? Yeah, the sexy man is behind the magnifying glass. Um, that's on one side. We have the ship, the tree, and the cross. The fox is on the other side. The magnifying glass and the fox. Sexy man and the night birds. The day birds was with the woman, I think. The night birds are behind the sexy man. I say the sexy man because there are two men and it makes it easier to differentiate, who's where. Okay. Number 44, the magnifying glass is at the top. Now I need another timestamp for when I actually read these. I'm going to say 31. I'll say 30, 30. 30, 30. Okay. I'll turn this down so I can focus. Excuse me, and I'm going to yawn because that's what I do all day, every day. I'm a yawner. 1 second. Um, so the two angels on the side, it's Archangel Gabriel and Archangel Uriel, seventh chakra and fifth chakra. That's the crown and the throat. On the side of the crown chakra is yin yang and the door to spirit being wide open. On the side of the throat chakra, it's patience and the healer of the ages. 75 degrees of Scorpio is bringing the Knight of Pentacles headed towards the Hierophant as the Hierophant is making some kind of transition. The Three of Pentacles with the World card, and then the Nine of Cups with the Five of Pentacles. 75 degrees Virgo is also the ship and the cross for the wood that is the tree. It feels like there's a certain purpose. There are certain oh no, you're fine. You're fine, Steph. There's a certain dependence that we've had on, or that we have on, like angels and the Hierophant to do certain things on our behalf or to do something for us. Almost to spiritually parent us in a way. To be like a spiritual older brother, older sister, or a spiritual parent. On the side of Archangel Uriel is yin yang and the door to spirit. So it's almost like when we reach a certain point in our spiritual development, we don't need the angels or the Hierophant to do certain things for us anymore. With the door to, hey David, how you doing? With the door to spirit being wide open, it feels like there are things that we're going to be able to almost do for ourselves or get for ourselves. It's like we won't need someone to go on our behalf across that veil to the door because the door is open now. It's like you can just like come in. It's like if you're like, hey, can I borrow a cup of sugar? You go to your neighbor. You're like, hey, can I borrow a cup of sugar? And usually, like, you text your neighbor and they bring the sugar to you. But then they text you like, hey, like doors open, come in and grab it. It's in the cabinet above the kitchen sink. And you're like, I just go in your house and like, yeah, I trust you. And like, you're not gonna do anything weird, but you like think that it's weird that they just be like, because usually they bring it to you, but now they're like, hey, door's unlocked. With technology nowadays, I can unlock the door from anywhere in the world, and I trust you. I was gonna say, and also have cameras, but then I trust you. So like, I'll unlock the door remotely. You can just go in. This is where the sugar is. Grab it. Also, we're going to be gone for a while, so feel free to go through the fridge, and if there's anything that you want, like take it because better that it gets eaten and you know. And it's so on the left side, it's the Hierophant, the world, and the Five of Pentacles. It's like this Hierophant energy has completed its mission. But then it leaves us with the Five of Pentacles because it's like that energy isn't there anymore. It's like the Hierophant is stepping through some. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? There are my crossroads. The Hierophant is stepping through its portal because its time is nearing its end, or the level of our relationship to the angels and to the Hierophant and to these divine intermediaries, question mark, even though I'd be semi hard pressed to call like a divine intermediary, but like angels aren't God, so in a way they kind of are. You know what I mean? Not to trivialize any angel's position, girl, because again, who am I but some dude on the internet? And I think like this Five of Pentacles, I don't know if it's an adjustment phase. Oh, like yeah, the Hierophant's walking through the portal, and then here's the world, right? Which is like completions, endings, new beginnings. So like it walks through that door, and then again, like we're left with this Five of Pentacles. So it's like this giant Five of Pentacles occupies this, so we can't contact the Hierophant in the way that we used to anymore. And it's like this is it's a natural part of the spiritual journey. And I say that because the wood for this 75 degrees of Scorpio is the ship to the cross. I know it looks like it's sailing away from the cross, but that's because it came out first. So the card that came out before, because I pulled from the bottom of the deck, the card that came out before is on the right, and the card that came out after is on the left. And when I set the cards down, I was like, am I doing this like first card on the left, second card on the right? So in the deck, it would have looked like this, but it came out like this. And because of this, it's like it's a natural part of the spiritual journey that we reach an age of spiritual maturity where we don't need the Hierophant to go to the divine on our behalf or teach us of the ways of the divine because we have that relationship with our we have that relationship ourselves. Again, the door to spirit is wide open. Why do you need a Hierophant to walk through the door when you can just walk through on your own? Communication is open, like the door is open, and it's I guess interesting because last time I used the Angelarium, year two, it was Armoros and Rimph, the undoing of time. Time was that bubble that sort of separated us from the divine in a way until we reach an age of maturity to give us the space and the time to mature, to find out who we are, to make mistakes with less dire consequences, all of the things that we afford children as they're growing and learning. The divine afforded us the same things as we spiritually grow and learn and develop and evolve and change and do all kinds of stuff. But that time was being undone. Door to spirit is wide open because with yin and yang, like we've achieved whatever balance we've needed to achieve. And like Uriel is saying that. Seventh chakra. So it's almost like, you know, if the divine isn't responding in certain ways, or if certain hierophants are starting to resonate less, not because your relationship is changing. So I know it's not every relationship. I know not everyone has a relationship with their parents, but it's like if you have a parent or legal guardian, until you yourself are of age, they're responsible for you. It's like it's their job to take care of you, to feed you, clothe you, all that stuff that you can't do because you're a child or you're still, you know, growing, maturing. But after you have the capability to do that for yourself, when you reach that stage that you're doing all of that yourself and your parents aren't doing that, then your relationship with them changes. then they may become more of like mentors and guides and friends, or not friend, but I would say my mom is my friend. But I would say I've always had that relationship with her, but then she'd be like, I'm not one of your friends. I'm your mother. You listen to me. I'd be like, I don't listen to anybody. We both know that. Okay. Kind of. But it's like that relationship changes when you come of age, or when you're doing all of that stuff, when you're doing all the things that they used to do for you yourself, the dynamic of your relationship changes because they're no longer doing those things for you. It doesn't mean that your mom can't, or your parents can't still like help you or still do, like, that's not what I'm talking about. But it's like in that way, so too, because we're spiritually growing, evolving, and changing, because we're on these waves of ascension and everything else, it's like, of course, our relationship with the higher refined and with the angels would change. We're no longer a spiritual babe sucking at the teat of whoever has an ounce of connection, or like, and again, like, I'm just a dude who's reading paper and ink and sometimes plastic. I don't know what the new relationship to the angels is going to be like. But Michael, a hot second ago, the energy of Archangel Michael through the cards was like, here's my sword. Go and take care of this problem. And then we make our way through the challenge. Maybe a little nine of wands, beat up, bruised, battered, potentially bloody, exhausted. And we're like, Michael, I have finished the task with your sword. This sword is amazing. I didn't think I would be able to do it, but wow. And Michael's like, congratulations. And then you're like, here's your sword back. And Michael's like, what are you talking about? That's not my sword. And you're like, what? You said you couldn't help me because like I had your sword or whatever. Your sword fell to earth, and so you needed me to go on a quest to retrieve it, and you were too holy to step down, to step foot on this vile planet. You blow the whole thing up with your righteousness, is what you told me. So I went on the quest to retrieve your sword, and then I faced the thing I needed to face. And now at the end of my journey, I am here to return it, and you're telling me that you've had your sword this whole time? And Michael's like, yeah, but you like now you found your sword and you know how to use it. So instead of calling on Michael to like come and solve all of our problems in whatever way, we found our own sword. Now Michael becomes the tutor, the mentor. He trains us on how to use our own sword, how to grow closer in that way. That was the how the cards read. And it's pretty much here again. Because on this side, it's like it's the Knight of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles, and the Nine of Cups. So the Knight of Pentacles and the like, this is the Knight's long journey is to this Nine of Cups. Whatever we ask for, we take this long journey to get it, to find that wish fulfillment, to find that happiness. And in between or along the way on that journey, we meet people that we meet people, we have experiences, we work jobs, we live life, we grow, we evolve, we change. And as we're growing, evolving, changing, healing, becoming more of ourselves on our way to attain our heart's truest desires, we become the truest version of ourselves. And again, it's like at that point, at the point where the Knight of Pentacles reaches this Nine of Cups, it's like the Fool going through the major arcana. The last thing that's left is the world, and the world is here as the Hierophant is piecing out. And it's like, now it's your time. Now it's your turn. Oh, I'll put these backwards. Oh my gosh, can I not put these cards back in the right place? There we go. There we go. Goodness. And it's something that Hierophant has known. Because it's like at the same time, The night of, I'll take a picture real quick. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'll take a picture when I'm done, and then I put all the cards away, and I'm gonna see if I can't do a little internet magic. 24 karat, 24 karat. Oh, it ain't gonna be perfect, but nothing that I ever do is. I have to edit the picture really. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to tilt this. Oh, I love modern technology. You know what? Good enough. This works. You see that? So it's like the Knight of Pentacles, while it's journeying in the direction of the Hierophant, it's also completing this like Nine of Cups. There's the Nine of Cups journey. This is how the cards are laid out. I decided to just use raw wood today. Just the table, no little reading cloth. Oh, wood for the wood. Okay, I get it. And like that's it. I thought that this might be a little more involved, but it feels like it's honestly that simple. Um, Patience and the healer of the ages is on the side of Archangel Gabriel. This healer of the ages feels like what do we call it? Embodying that higher light. I need it. I'm not trying to be like flippant or disrespectful. I'm trying to use words and phrases that I've heard to try to communicate. I'm trying to use a language that I hope you understand. But basically, it's just like, because there's, of course, there's going to be a learning phase, a learning process. This is us, like, full of spirit as we've transited the door to spirit. Like, this is who we become on earth. That balance that is elevated to a degree that is, this is the Ten of Swords, the destroyer. It was the purification of the vessel to receive a divine gift. This is also Perth, Cosmic Surge with Calc, Anchor Mortared. It's like our vessels, our bodies are being prepared to receive this energy as we like go through the healing process. It's like that's the purpose, that's the point. This patience is in the same row as that Knight of Pentacles. So I don't know if somebody's guardian angel was like waiting to retire. If they're like, they're my last case, that's the last person that I have guardianship over. And when they complete their journey, I'm good. I'm done. I get to incarnate and live an experience, so that when they transition to this side, they get to be my guardian. And then they'll see how easy it is. I'm just, I don't think an angel would. Well, I don't know. I don't speak for nobody but me. Um, but yeah, so there's like the yin yang balance that this Knight of Pentacles is, again, in that study process as it's heading towards the Hierophant. Patience is right behind him. So maybe Hierophant is trying to retire too. Somebody is waiting to retire. And they're being patient with us because they want to make sure that we're going to be okay. And it's not like they're going anywhere, they're still going to be there. Is it over? Oh my gosh, I think it's over. It's over. No, that's so sad. It was like 50 minutes and 6 seconds. And it just ended as I said that. I wasn't done listening. Wow. Well, that's it. That's the end of the video. So I guess congratulations. And again, like there were two painted angels. There's a lot of like statuettes of the angels in the cemetery, but most of them, if not the rest of them that I've seen, are just like that marble, granite, whatever. There's no color to them. But these two had color. And again, I feel like it's just like it's a part of the maturation process. Just like we physically age and mature and grow to the point where we're not as dependent upon our older parents, family members. And then there's also the point where there are younger ones who come behind us that depend on us. Now, that part, wow. And that's the 22 crossroads. So this is a time of transitions. It's like as the Hierophant steps out in some way, we step in or we step up. Um, let's see. You are here. Hug me. Perspective is the card that's at the top of the deck from the last time I used it. No problem. This is interesting. I mean, I guess it's not because again, like of course, like spirit isn't going anywhere. Spirit's always going to be here, but it's a time to see what you can do to grow and mature. And again, oh gosh, that's too many, and they all fell out on top of this cross. Am I gonna? I'll read all of them, just the titles, but I'm not. Perspective again, followed by solidarity, depth, support, loyalty, and curiosity. I think this curiosity is. I love that came out last because there's also an energy. It's almost like the divine is excited to see what we do in the new phase of our growth and development, right? That's not too unreasonable or too outside of the box or too unconventional. It's not that far of a leap in logic if we reach the point where the divine is like, okay, you are ready for your next phase. That was the Knight of Wands into the Queen of Wands and the in between tarot with that energy of like a graduation of sorts. Um, oh gosh, can I shuffle the cards? And it's like we're excited to see what you do with with your life, with your future. The future is bright. It's limitless. All right, one card, two at the most. Oh gosh, like three cards just tried to fall again. There is so much love and support and congratulatory noise. Can't think of the word. As we finish these processes, as you cross, oh my gosh. Initiative. I'm just gonna read the top card because like 10 of them flipped over. Two cards at the most, please. Comply. There's just a lot of excitement. It's like when you go to a graduation and they're like, hold your applause until the end. But there are people who clap, and once people clap for one person, they're clapping for everybody. You know what I mean? It's like it's a huge, monumentous, completely axis shifting moment. Okay. goodness, aggressive much. Bottom of the deck is cleansing, and I'll read it. It's a bonus card, so it doesn't count. I mean, it does, but it's extra for free. Cleansing. Feeling bogged down by the weight of 1,000 thoughts slash feelings slash boxes of mystery objects lurking in your closets? Consider this a prescription to clean house, mentally, physically, literally, figuratively, and anything else that applies adverbally. It's hard to make room for new connections and experiences when every bit of your emotional space is cluttered with psychic bric-a-brac. So, enjoy a major guilt free flush out. And not to worry, you can always find new psychic bric-a-brac in the metaphorical clutter section of Craigslist. I love these. I love the humor in these decks. So, the two cards that came out are listening and reliability. See, this cleansing, it says clean house. It makes me think of the clean house card in the Enchanted Map Oracle. This card is listening and it has an elephant in it. The listening card in the Enchanted Map Oracle has an elephant. So I have to follow. I gotta do the Patrick thing here. Turn this 45-minute, 20-minute, hour-long video into 5 hours. Listening. I activate my receptive side and become an engaged, intuitive, professional grade listener. Supercharged listening gives me the ability to not only hear the words others are saying, but also to perceive the emotions hiding between their words. Armed with this knowledge, I'll be in a great position to give them exactly what they need, or if I prefer, to dominate the planet. No, we can just. Reliability. The divine is relying on us to not try to dominate the planet. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess, we have free will, but this is beyond the realm of Patrick at this point, obviously, clearly. Reliability. I am reliable. When I say I'll do something, I take whatever that something is seriously. This applies to all commitments, even the ones that may have seemed small and insignificant to a less reliable me. From now on, flaking is just for dandruff commercials and cereal factories. Maybe this cleansing is also important. I think on top of all of this, so with listening, armed with this knowledge, I'll be in a great position to give them exactly what they need. As you're listening to the words and perceiving the underlying emotions, hopefully not projecting, because again, because the healer of the ages is here, there is that energy of like us embodying some of the divine love. It's the seed of the divine within us, like blossoming within us. And so now it radiates outward from the core as well. If there's one person who's going to spend all of the time that they need, somebody who's going to exhibit the patience to make something blossom and bloom and flourish and grow, if the yin yang is the seed of the divine within us, it's that Knight of Pentacles. This is, oh, and look, you see, even in patience, then it blooms, then it blossoms, and we from the inside out. Maybe we will be in a position to help others. Is it a new wave of hierophants? I don't know. I'll just say I don't know because I don't know. I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't believe that everyone necessarily has to whatever. At that point, at this point, when you reach this point, door to spirit is wide open. Like you'll know. You are reliable. You've proven yourself to be reliable just through going through the process. The divine knows that you will be a treat, but with this cleansing, I think there is a certain amount of like when we become that radiant, there is a certain standard that we hold ourselves to. Um, Yes and no. It's like throughout the process, there are just things that we stop desiring, or ways that we stop being, or things that we pick up, things that we take on. Like, we're changed throughout this process. The cleansing is a part of it. And so, again, by that point, I feel like it's not even like be mindful of the things that you say, because they have the liability to manifest. And you don't want to be in a road rage incident and manifest whatever for somebody who's just going where they're going like you are. Because it may be somebody fussing and cussing at you because you cut them off, and you're fussing and cussing at the person who cut you off, not realizing that you just did the same thing to somebody else. Also, like, not over promising, or not over committing, or not committing to things that don't resonate with who we are, things that compromise, because we can do things that don't like fully 100% resonate, right? Like, who's excited to do their taxes? But as long as it doesn't compromise your integrity, your morality, as long as it doesn't like compromise the thing that makes you you. We live with other people. Sometimes we make those loving sacrifices. um, but it could be like cleaning some of that, or we could become, because Virgo and Scorpio, almost like these air purifiers. Like, the healer of the age is this, like, his, again, from the inside out, it radiates. So it's just like anything in the vicinity of the healer of the ages is bathed in that cleansing energy. It was the old way to, what's the word for deifying a person? It was the old way to make them a hierophant. Like, oh, look at their aura, it's so whatever, and when I am near them, I feel they must be. And it's like, yeah, they are. But at the same time, was it a time of teaching? Sure. Were gurus and hierophants and pastors and priests necessary? Of course. I mean, even with them, look at the state of the world, you know what I mean? I'm sure they were doing a service for quite some time that was very necessary and needed. But again, as we mature, we don't need hierophant to tell us, like, hey, like, do this, don't do that, blah blah blah, whatever. And again, at that point, we're in more direct communication with the door to spirit being wide open with the divine. And so there may be something that's not for that hierophant to do. There may be a belief that's true and resonant for that hierophant, because again, it's not something for them to do. It's not within their plan, but it might be in ours. And that's why, it's another reason why having that personal relationship and having a healthy discernment and intuition and being able to communicate is important. Because just because something isn't true for me, or something doesn't resonate for me, doesn't mean that it's not necessarily true for you. Doesn't mean that it's not for you to do. You know what I mean? And do I try to be open to other paths and people? Of course. Am I going to be perfect? Of course not. And at the end of the day, there are times when it's like it comes out like very loud and very clear. This needs to be said in this way. This is true for whoever is resonating with this. Even if I don't personally agree, it's like, this is a truth for somebody. It's not mine, and maybe I don't get it, but at this moment, it's not about me, and it's not about what I think, and it's not about what I believe. And so, most recently, like, the title card is Live Life and Find Out. But because of that last incident with Calc and Perth, sometimes it's like, it's not something that I can read or see to give you. The Queen of Cups and the SKT for me is very much that energy. And it's like, so that I don't misguide or mislead somebody, or so I don't lead them to misinterpret something, because I have the responsibility in this setting of conveying a message. Is 100% of that responsibility solely on me? I would say no, because again, especially in a general, just like in a not private one-on-one setting, take it as like, what do you think take it as it resonates mean? Like, when I say use your intuition and discernment, I mean it. So is 100% of that responsibility on me? No, because I'm communicating my truth from my perspective, or what I observe. But in those moments again where I need to step outside of me to communicate to something to somebody else who may need it, then that's when I do my best to put myself aside. And you might hear me say, like, this, it doesn't work like this for me, or I wouldn't think this, but this is what it's saying. And as I'm saying it, it's resonating as true, of course. But I can realize that, like, maybe it's not for me right now, or maybe it's just not how I operate. It's not the flavor that the divine made me in. But that doesn't mean that the divine didn't make somebody else in that flavor. You know what I mean? Anyway, Kathy, Twitty, hi, hello, how are you? I am as oblivious to the chat as ever, as you can see. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to look before and after Clean House and before and after listening in the Enchanted Map Oracle because the decks are so, like, I have to. I don't have to. I could end the video, but I'm going to. That's what I should say. See you later, Sandra. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bottom of the deck, Golden Palace. Number 23. 32 is here. I was like, I don't think I've seen 23, but I've seen 32. So we have the 22 for the 22 of Crossroads and Yin Yang. But, I kind of like it. For the 32 of Door to Spirit, the 23 of Golden Palace is at the bottom of the deck. And the reason why I like this is because it's like once you cross that boundary, once you cross that threshold, it's like it flips it and reverses it, right? Like if we're both, it's like, I don't know, it's not like a mirror, but it's like once you cross that threshold, if you want to look at where you were, you have to turn around to see it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. I don't know. Golden Palace on the other side of that Door to Spirit. Okay. And then 36, commitment. Commitment is what reliability was all about. So commitment's going to go with reliability. I'm just going to put it on the table. The Golden Palace is going to go with the Door to Spirit. Next is Balancing Act. Balancing Act could go with, it is half of 22. I'm just going to, I saw Eve and I was like, is Eve here? Right? Loving it. Like Eve is the one to come up with really something really fun and really creative. And I love it every time. I love it every time. Oh, who was it? This 36. I knew I saw number 36. Commitment is the cross. They're both number 36. And also reliability. I was like, I know I've seen 36. 39 is Archangel Gabriel, 5th chakra. Anyway, I'm looking before and after Clean House and listening. Here's listening. Oh. So we have Peaks of Joy. I don't know if I've ever seen this card. Probably not surprising. Oh, thanks, Kathy. I try to be. Sometimes I can be more creative, but I just forget. I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. I should do that. As I'm like, I think for me too, it's always like when my mind is focused on something else where it's like, hey, do this. And I'm like, oh, yes. And it's such a good idea. I'm like, oh, I know I'll remember that later. Peaks of Joy, number 33, 11, 22, 33, 44 was at the bottom of this deck. 44 is the magnifying glass at the bottom of this deck with the sexy man behind it. Okay, let's get all the numbers. 53 is listening. And then rescue is under it. So Peaks of Joy, listening, and rescue. Your energy itself, or the way that you carry yourself out in the world, may like elevate people. It's like you could be like that ray of sunshine that brightens someone else's day to the point where you don't even really have to interact with them in a significant way to positively have a major impact on Is this maybe? Yep, Colette Baron Reed. Yep. To have impact on them. And then there's number 44 again after that, which is strength. I was doing it this way so I can look at, I like to look at windows too. I mean, y'all, if you've watched me, you know that. So we have home and strength on opposite sides or outside of that. 27 and 44. So that was listening. Now I need clean house. Cleaning house right here. So we have 43 details. 43 details with the 44 on the card. Clarity. And then there's the magnifying glass. 43, 44. Interesting. Sad embrace. 45. Oh, it's sad embrace, but 45, 44, 43. 37 of cleaning house. The Wizard of Awareness. Number 3. And then there's 42 wide open. 42, 43, 44, 45. There wasn't another. I was like, where'd I put the cards? 16, 53, 33. 16, rescue was the same as patience. Patience and rescue are both number 16. Patience and rescue, it actually takes me back to the bear and the crossroads. How there was the option and the opportunity that was thawing out. Something that was being opened after a long time, or something that's brand new that we've been like awaiting. So it's almost like just as it's not to put any pressure on anybody because all things happen in their time. But it's like there are people who are waiting for us, or people, places, and things. Our futures are waiting for us. The things that you want you. The things that you anticipate are also anticipating your arrival type of energy. But it does feel like it plays more on like the people that come into our lives a little bit. I mean, and it was in listening too, right? Armed with this knowledge, I'll be in a great position to give them exactly what they need by perceiving the emotions hiding between the words. So, yep, and then 42 wide open. Wide open skies. Ooh, okay. Cause it's sad embrace on once. Oh gosh. Yeah. Who are you? I got 4 cards. No, because it was the Wizard of Awareness. Oh, I pulled it out. It was the window. That's why. Details, cleaning house, and the Wizard of Awareness. 43, 37, and 3. 33 is on the table. 33 is Peaks of Joy. So Wizard of Awareness and Peaks of Joy, 333. And then, yeah, I'll do that. So Sad Embrace is waiting for the rescue. And then there's the wide open. But it was more so like what was the sad embrace before is now like wide open. Under sad embrace is rock bottom. And dry desert is under rock bottom. So yeah, there is an energy of waiting here. And then number 22, intention, is under the 31. They're both a 4. So dry desert, rock bottom, sad embrace. Really like waiting for that, for the rains to fall. Intention, 44, 22, the 11 of strength, or the 11 of whatever card came out. again, it's like this is that energy of knowing that it takes time. We have to have the strength to break out of the shell from the inside. And it's like it's because of how it conditions the body. That's why like butterflies are born knowing how to fly, because they had to fight out of the chrysalis. And so if you break it out, if you break a butterfly out of the cocoon, if you break a bird out of the egg, if they need it, yeah, they need it. But it weakens them, because like that's the canal that they come through to be born into the world. That's what gives them some of their innate knowing, right? That's how fish learn that they can breathe underwater when they don't drown. You know what I mean? You pop out the womb and you don't drown, so you have no concept of not being able to breathe out of water. As you re-solidify and as you're breaking through your cocoon, then it's like, of course, like you know how to fly at that point. At that point, flying is probably easy. You know, the hardest thing of your life you've already done. The most difficult part is behind you. That was the rainbow that came out. But sometimes getting accustomed to and acquainted with love and familiarity, like a new familiarity, comfort, ease and flow, like getting used to things not being difficult or not having to fight for things that you should have never had to fight for, is its own, like it comes with its own type of challenge and its own type of period of adjustment. Oh. Self-reporting. So yeah, it's just like don't rush. That's the point here. That's what I was getting at with the bird needing to break out of the egg themselves, with the butterfly needing to break out of the cocoon themselves. Don't rush the process, because this too is giving you the strength to be who you need to be, to see things and to be as perceptive and whatever. It's all a part of that maturation process. And then we have wide open under that. This number, what number was it? Oh, that was the 22. The 22 of intention. As I said, like this yin yang is the seed of the divine within us. That is the egg. And then when we're ready, when we break forth, healer of the ages is who we are. From the same space, just radiating that outwards. And again, here's the patience that we need. That's where the seed is, and it's being tended to. Um, but yeah, there is rescue coming, and look at all the water as the island of rescue comes to the sad embrace. There will be plenty of water for this dry desert. But who is this? Can you see her? There's a person there. You would almost think, because her dress kind of blends in with the water, their dress kind of blends in with the water. But something about the patterning on the wall makes me think of this wizard of awareness. It's different, but something about that patterning makes me think of the Triskel behind him. Anyway, I didn't even read that card. So, um, she emerges. She emerges from this dark cave. This is the 16 of patience. Finally, she emerges. There's the lookout. They're like, she's made it to the other side. Maybe it's like there are no cameras when you're in that tunnel or whatever. So it's just the divine's faith in you. It's your faith in the divine and the divine's faith in you, and you step by step as long as it takes. Cool. So yeah, I'm glad I pulled that. Those I gotta put you on the table. 16 for 16. Well, yeah, that was it. Right? Yeah, because I pulled the intention, the 22 for 22. Um, so details 43, 37, and cleaning house. Oh, see, this is more like the listening card again. Because in the listening card it says supercharged listening gives me the ability to not only hear the words others are saying, but also to perceive the emotions hiding between their words. Something about the clarity found under the microscope and the discerning countenance of this wizard of awareness. It's that like reading between the lines, finding the hidden emotion, and then the wizard of awareness is there. There's something very like magical, but this is almost, I would say it's almost divine. Because the end of it, I'll just read the whole card again. Cardigan. I activate my receptive side and become an engaged, intuitive, the receptive side with the yin yang. So it's like it activates the receptive side. So it spins into that yin energy. It has a mastery of both. I activate my receptive side and become an engaged, intuitive, professional grade listener. Supercharged listening gives me the ability to not only hear the words others are saying, but also to perceive the emotions hiding between their words. Armed with this knowledge, I'll be in a great position to give them exactly what they need. The light at the end of his wand, that's that energy of like giving them exactly what they need. After much deliberation and consideration. But again, like it feels like typically that's something that is like, well, maybe no, it isn't. I would say typically it's something reserved for the divine. Yeah, but we already do that for each other. There are people in our lives that we care about. In general, there are people in our lives that we care about immensely. And sometimes, especially when we get to learn them, we know when they feel a certain type of way, even if they're not communicating it with their words. Like Kirsty said, if I didn't turn this into a 3 hour video, she'd think that something's wrong with me. So it's not what I'm saying. It's like by what I'm not doing, that would cause her to feel concerned for me because it's a change in my behavior. It's a change in something I've done. And then you go back and you think, like, okay, they're going through this. What can I do for them? And what can I do for them in a way that will make them feel whatever? So it's almost like the platinum rule. The golden rule is treat others how you want to be treated. The platinum rule is treat others how they want to be treated. This wizard of awareness gives them what they need. It's a great first step to be like, if I were in this situation, this is what I would want. So I'm going to give them what I would want if I were in their situation. If that is, I don't want to say the limit of, if that is the depth of our awareness, I don't want to say it that way either because I don't want to say it as if it's shallow. But it's just that, like, not everybody is the same. Not everyone needs the same things in the same ways that other people need them. But this wizard of awareness is able to give them what they need, how they need it. The wizard of awareness is not, if I were in their situation, this is what I would need. And again, like it's a great first step. It's the thought that counts and it's the thought that matters. But maybe that's why, too, it feels like it's more like in the realms of the divine. There are ways that we already do this for each other, but a lot of times, if we're giving someone advice or if we're helping someone, sometimes it can come from a, if I were in their shoes, if I were in their position, this is what I would want and this is what I would need because we don't have their awareness to know what they need and want unless they ask us. But if we're reading between the lines, maybe we're like, hey, like it seems like you're whatever. If you have that type of bonding relationship, maybe they'll open up and they'll tell you what they need, and then perfect. It was like there was someone in my life. We're incredibly close now, but when we first met, we were not. And I could tell that like he was going through some stuff, and I'm like, hey, how are you doing? He'd be like, oh, I'm fine, like everything's good or whatever. And I was like, really? Because like I can tell that something's up. And he's like, I appreciate your concern, but I would like it if I say I'm fine, that you just like leave it at that. And I was like, okay, I respect that boundary. And he's one of my favorite people in the world because he is so good at communicating boundaries. And like most of the time, like by the time I reach that point with a person, like we're already fairly close. But also like his life was his life, and there are reasons why he whatever that I didn't know at the time. And like there are other people in my life who've communicated boundaries, but it's like because like we respect each other's boundaries, like because I didn't get offended or like, oh well, I'm never gonna ask you how you're doing again. Fine, if you don't want me to care about you, then I'm not gonna care about you. It's like I can respect that, you know. Because there are times it's like, especially back then, it's like if I'm open and talking about something, I've already processed through it. And a lot of people thought I was honestly more vulnerable than I was because of all of the stuff I was talking about. But by the time I'm talking to you about it, I've already settled into it in my spirit. I wasn't good at like communicating things to people that I was actively going through because I didn't trust everybody to be able to console me in the ways that I needed to be consoled in those moments when I was in a space of vulnerability. Because what I don't need right now is, well, look at this person. If they can get through it, then you can get through it. Because in Patrick's world, they are them and I am me. We're not the same person. So there's people who have can do all kinds of things. Like, oh, well, look at Michael Jordan. He can fly to the hoop from the other side of the court. Haven't you seen Space Jam? And it's like, yeah, okay, well, I'm not Michael Jordan, so thanks for the advice. And again, that's kind of falls back to the Wizard of Awareness. It's like what you're giving me isn't helpful for me. I appreciate your concern. I really do. I love that you care enough about me to be here for me in my time of need. But what you're giving me isn't helpful. And it's agitating me. Like, I'm not going to put myself in a position to be upset and irritated and frustrated and agitated with someone for not caring for me in the way that I need to be cared for, especially if I know that they're different enough from me that it's like the way that you take consideration and encouragement and empowerment is very different than how I do it. And I don't want to feel like that about you because I'm feeling some type of way. I'm a lot better now at, talking about things as I'm going through them. Obviously, you can watch me process live on camera sometimes. Um, but that I think that's an important differentiating factor. And maybe that's why there's a part of it that feels more divine because the divine knows what we need and how we. Whoo, hello. Oh, that's my mom. I'm like, what is happening? The divine knows what we need and how we need it. See you, Kathy. I hope I didn't miss you. Bye. Aw. I love that stuff. Um, but yeah, maybe that's why it feels more divine because the divine knows what we need and how we need it and knows how to get it to us or knows how to get us to it. It works both ways. That which you are anticipating is also anticipating you. But there's something about the Wizard of Awareness and this Healer of Ages. Maybe it's its ability to more deeply, with more like depth, was the second card that came out, wasn't it? Where is depth? Balancing act. Is depth not in this deck? Maybe no, depth was over here? Question mark. Giving warmth. No. I saw the card of depth. I read it. I read it. Anyway, wherever depth is, um, as we dive deeper into our own receptive nature, we can listen more deeply and we can consider each other more deeply. But again, it's like I struggle to use the word because it is, but it's just different. Because it feels like the level of compassion can be the same. Or it's like you can know what somebody else needs and not particularly care about them and just give them what they need. And you know it's what they need. And you can care extremely deeply about someone and not know what they need and do your best to give them what you think they need. So it's not depth or whatever in that way. It's just awareness, I guess. And that's why the Wizard of Awareness is here. And again, it's not necessarily awareness in this way of like, if you're unaware, then you're not woke or whatever. It's just, it's just awareness. Is it partially a gift of listening? Yes. But it's it's an expansion on listening. Which again, it's like it's the details. So yeah, this card is perfect. Details, details. It's the intentness, but it's almost like, well, why did this come before and after cleaning house? Why didn't this come before and after listening? You know what I mean? What cards came before and after listening? I don't even know because I've been matching cards all over the table. But see, they both have elephants listening. That's why I picked this deck. And reliability and cleaning house because the bonus card cleansing mentions clean house. Um, and it put clean house in all caps, which is, technically not cleaning house, but you throw a little ing on it, put a little water meadow in it, use the water in the bucket of the mop for this. All right. Well, with that, I hope you all have an amazing whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I don't know why I'm mixing the cauldron, but sure, why not? And yeah, it's with all journeys, there are milestones. There are points in time where we turn around and things are different, and where we look forward and it's a landscape that maybe we dreamed of. With the Nine of Cups, maybe it is a landscape that we dreamed of. Um, and that as we grow and change and evolve and develop in our own selves, certain dynamics and certain relationships are going to change because our dependence upon them is because our needs are different, right? And it has to be a beautiful milestone marker phase in one spiritual journey where the seed of the divine within them blossoms and their relationship with the angels and the divine. The Hierophant is like, yeah, but I guess in a way too, that's beautiful. For the Hierophant that is the master to their students, it has to be beautiful when the students become their own masters. To the it's fine. I'll just leave it there. I'll leave it there. No chili pepper. See, this is why I need the music. It keeps me nice. I mean, it doesn't, but I can pretend like it does. Um, to grow to that point where it's no longer needed, but to be the person, just allow ourselves the time and grace and space that we need to figure things out and to refigure things out and It doesn't mean that, when if you were a new adult and you were off on your own, and it doesn't mean like, there wasn't ever a time where you may be a not new adult. I know some people who have the fortune of their parents still being with them, who are well into their years, who still call their parents for help and advice. We need the things that we need from them. And I think sometimes in other ways, as a human, we can kind of sort of get fixed in what people need from us, or get fixed in what people want from us, to the point where there are certain dynamics that we may get fixed in, where it's like, I feel like I don't have a specific example coming into my mind. There are a lot of adjacent side examples, but I'll just give you a silly one. Like, let's say that there's someone that has a farm and milk. Let's say there's someone that has a farm and your financial resources are limited in that current of your experience, in that current moment of your experience. And that person is gracious enough to give you milk, because milk is so gosh darn expensive. So gosh darn expensive. And so, it's a very favorable, it's not weird at all. But then, like, let's say that your finances change to the point where you don't need milk anymore. But now, because eggs are super expensive, you want eggs from the chicken rather than milk from the cows. And it's like sometimes the human in us can go like, well, you always needed milk, so I didn't think you needed anything else. And now all of a sudden you're changing it up and you want eggs. Like, what's that all about? Like, I don't have eggs for you. I got milk. Got milk. And it's like the person changed. Or it's like, if the person, like, if the cows, if something happens to the cows and the person doesn't have milk, and we're like, well, you always give me milk. Like, why now I can't rely on you for milk? Oh, like, because what, this happened or that happened or blah 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 blah. Even in work, in life, like, we're also caught up in our own world and in the goings on of our own worlds, that our ability to extend to one another can be limited, or we're like, our perception gets fixed in a way that doesn't allow for them to grow and expand, or doesn't allow for our dynamics and relationships to grow and expand. It's like, for the parent that always looks at their child as a child, and it's like, your child isn't 5 weeks old anymore. They're off living their own life. you know Allow them that space to grow. It's something that the divine is, of course, really 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 good at, through nature of being divine. It's something that I think we'll also be growing into in time, because patience is on this side as well. It's the patience to reach this point, and then it's also the patience to grow into what we're growing into. This door to spirit is just a milestone, a marker. It's not the conclusion of that. Oh, McDonald got bills to pay. So, like, when I was working, there was somebody who would give us eggs that smelled straight from the butt of the hens that laid them. But then the plant closed down, and then eggs got super expensive. I'm like, my egg connect, no. I was like, he better be making a fortune off of those eggs. Woo. But yeah, anyway. Um, that was that with the bakers? The bakers and the grains with the bread, 5 loaves and 2 fish, the angel of storms, Ananiel. Anyway, I'm gonna check. I'll say conclusion at 1:39:30. I don't know if I'm gonna do final cards right now, or if I'm just gonna put these away. So, but I want to mark this as the end. Oh, it was an hour. Okay, well, maybe. Let's see. Oh no, there we go. 1:39:30. True. You could be in the presence of an angel right now and not even know it. Jokes. He's got jokes. He's a comedian. He thinks he's a comedian. He thinks he's funny. What is this? Oh. Well, she hasn't asked me what time we're going. Oh, it might be a rest day today. I might do Tai Chi today. I think I will do Tai Chi today. I might do. So yeah, we're gonna do final cards. I think I have the time. Hang out this face all the time. It's too late now. I'm moving on. No problem. Glad to be here for ya. It's the least. Well, technically, it's not the least I could do because I guess I could do less by saving you hours of your time. um, but yeah, no problem. And there's like, it's what we do for each other. That's the thing. I don't remember if I mentioned it or not. With the Healer of the Ages and listening and the Wizard of Awareness, it's what we do for each other. You know? I should have a video that's just the rant in the beginning and the final cards at the end. But if I did that, I would probably still pull more final cards after the final cards. Maybe I'll do final thoughts instead of final cards. I'm gonna go. I was gonna go in reverse order from how I pulled them, but I'm gonna go in the order that I pulled them in. Why not live life on the wild side? Ooh, surrender. Surrender and cleansing. Interesting bonus cards. I think the surrender and cleansing, it's almost that like um our cleansing process is being aided, but we have to surrender the things that are being cleansed. It's like rather than us bagging up the, oh, I don't want to say trash, rather than us going through and cleaning things, we're hiring somebody else. Someone else is being kind enough to come in and clean for us. But we're like, oh no, don't do that. Don't touch that. Like, oh no, that goes there. Or don't get rid of that. I need that. And it's like to the point where they can't, out of the graciousness of their hearts or out of the dollar signs in your wallet, they came to offer you this service, but then you're like, oh, don't, nope, nope, no, nope, nope, don't. And then no cleaning gets done. But you're looking at it like, oh my gosh, like it's so much neater in here. Thank you. And they're like, I literally did nothing because you didn't allow me to, but you're welcome. At least you feel better in this space. That's the surrender that's needed as whoever comes in and does whatever. As always, I love to say, because I honestly mean it more than anything else that I say on this channel, use your own intuition, discernment, guidance, wisdom, and knowledge, please. I am merely here to offer you a perspective that you may not see and to share the truth, to share my perspective and the truth that I see. May not always be true for you. May never be true for you, honestly. I could just be a weirdo. And I've already accepted myself as a weirdo. I've already deemed myself a weirdo. There are certain things that I value very much so that some people don't at all. are things that I get hung up on that again are like very important to me that is not like is very inconsequential to other people. Some of my closer friends have learned that because to remain my friend, they had to. It's like again, like I don't have interest in anyone who's not gonna. It's like no, like why would I put myself through that heartache and that torment? Why would I put myself through coloring a perception and perspective of you in a way because you continuously do this to me after I tell you time and time and time again that I don't like it? It only breeds animosity. And we'd both be better off without that. You know what I mean? It's very sensible, I believe. Anyway, Giannis in between. I wish it's like there's going to be a point in time where yawns are communicated as just like dreams have meanings. Whenever we yawn, there's a meaning. Maybe it's I'm ready for bed. I've been up for 2 hours. Okay, energy oracle cards. You are the first to open us up. You will be the first to close it out. What say you, Michael? If Michael comes out, Yuri. Oh no, it's Metatron. Blossoming abundance with Archangel Metatron. Ooh, okay. Metatron. Yeah, if y'all know, okay. So this is what I came across on the internet. Okay, don't ask me what I believe. What I came across on the internet said that Enoch from the Book of Enoch, how like Enoch and Elisha were like two people who like were raptured without dying. They were just like ascended to heaven while they were still alive. I read on the internet, or I heard in somebody's video on the internet, that Enoch is Metatron. That Metatron is Enoch. That after Enoch was granted whatever, he ascended into Metatron. I was like, wow. And I only mention that because the energy of the deified ancestor that came out in the whatever the last Build With Me spread was, that came after the Psyche energy and the Ganymede and the whoever in the Greek mythology that was human but became deified of the lion. What does that mean, girl? I don't know. I don't know. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. But with Archangel Metatron there, and then the Blossoming Abundance, talking about walking through the door of spirit after the Semyaza that looked up at the heavens and remembered who he is. I don't know. I just read paper and plastic, or paper and ink, sometimes plastic. Anyway, energy oracle cards. What say you? What say you, energy oracle cards? That's weird. I was shuffling it and then they came up like this. What the man holding a heart is suffering from financial constraints. Financial constraints in the man holding a heart. Bottom of the deck is second chakra Archangel Ariel. I don't think the financial constraints is about money. I think it's related to the second chakra. And look where he's holding the heart. Um, and then the temple path is behind, and then the world is behind the temple path. It feels like whatever this man holding a heart energy is, like man holding a heart is also on a journey. And it's almost like it may be that the journeys align in a way that what one person is needing, the other person has an abundance of. And what that person is needing, the first person has an abundance of, but they're needing it in a way almost that like maybe they never got it. And I feel like needing is a bit maybe misleading. Because with the temple path, with the world, like the world feels like there was a time that there was something that they weren't experiencing or a type of person that they weren't connecting with into. And then the temple path is their own journey of healing, maybe related to the second chakra, Archangel Ariel, which is it's coming in maybe more as like vulnerability and intimacy. Like there have been people that maybe the man holding a heart has cared about, but that they maybe they haven't found someone to be like truly vulnerable with because they've always had to serve a role for somebody. And the role that this man holding a heart had to like step up and fulfill, whoever they're connecting to, they don't need the man holding a heart in that way. They don't need that from the man holding a heart. So now the man holding a heart gets to like experience other things. Like it's just on their own healing path, on their own healing journey through what they want for themselves. They want to be able to be intimate, truly intimate and vulnerable. Intimate in terms of like vulnerability rather than physicality. Because if I don't think he's struggling for it, you know. I mean, he could be, you never know. But it's like that real vulnerability. And maybe the man holding a heart has found himself with someone that he can be as open and vulnerable with as he wants. Like you have an abundance of the capacity for him to, and what I guess that's, I was trying to avoid saying you, but I already said it. What you need, the man holding a heart is good at giving. But it may be things that like were never asked for from each other or were never appreciated. Like the man holding a heart is looking for someone that he can be vulnerable with. You have an abundance of that capacity. But maybe it's like you've come across so many people who would just like offload their problems on you or who like weren't great to you. And so it's like maybe you haven't necessarily experienced a dynamic that was like healthy in that way. I don't, either way, the man holding a heart is on his own journey because, you know, he's been popping that. And again, it goes back to it's what we do for each other. Could be a lover, sure. Could be a very close friend or someone who becomes a very close friend. Could be anybody. Could be for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, is what they say. But it feels like there's an alignment of journeys. There's an equal exchange. And for all the times the two of cups and the knight of cups been coming out the day, I don't know. But it's not about that, right? It depends on who you're talking to. We could also be the man holding a heart. I don't think it's really specific though. It's just that like because the man holding a heart is the one that came out, there are at least a few societies and that have norms and customs and traditions of manliness that does not afford men emotionality outside of sports. Because I saw some videos like sports is the only place where we allow men to like be emotional and all kinds of stuff. um but it's, you know, it's time for a more well-rounded whatever. Yeah, there's the two of cups and the magician and the ace of cups and the lovers at the bottom of the deck. I forgot they were down there. I forgot that they were down there. I think too, because the man holding a heart came out with the man holding a coin, there was a conversation of the conflation of value and how sometimes how we value ourselves can affect like what we tolerate and put up with in terms of like people and in terms of like work, and that exchange in value, and how since we all value things differently, things can get interesting in those exchanges. Um, so maybe the man holding a heart is, it's interesting because like it feels like he would value himself emotionally, like his self-worth when it comes to self and self-love would be pretty good, but when it comes to like extending outside of themselves, it's like there's a disconnect somehow. I mean, a financial need will put a financial need has all kinds of pressures of its own, right? Um, but it's like there's a disconnect between his internal and external worlds, one that's being healed or one that's being mended with that second chakra archangel Ariel. The Emperor comes out with the Eight of Swords at the bottom of the deck and Death behind the Eight of Swords. The Nine of Swords, Eight of Swords, Death, the Nine of Swords, and then the Ten of Swords. Oh my gosh. But after the Ten of Swords is the Eight of Cups. After the Eight of Cups is the Five of Pentacles. And then the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. I'm going to turn that up right. But the Ace of Cups is behind that, followed by the Six of Swords, followed by the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. So it is quite the journey that this emperor has to go through. Eight of Swords. After, like, because I thought that death after the Eight of Swords would be like, oh, like, right? No, Nine of Swords. And immediately after the Nine of Swords is the 10. I guess the only, like, good thing about this is that it feels like it reaches after the Emperor sees whatever they need to see. They transform to the point where this reaches a quick resolution. And I think that's why it's like 19. Something that the emperor recognizes. Maybe the emperor takes charge in their own life in a way. Maybe there were things that the emperor couldn't see because the emperor wasn't yet at a phase and point where he exercised whatever amount of control. Maybe the emperor didn't know. But once the emperor sees, maybe someone was very clever, almost like a Delilah, but not necessarily Samson and Delilah. You know what I mean? It's a little bit of a blind spot for whatever reason. Maybe the emperor was too busy to notice something. And then it's like, oh, that's the root of my problems. So yeah, it'll be more cost effective in the long term to nip this in the bud. And like, well, can you nip it in the bud when it's already like many generations old? You know what I mean? Like it's budding right now because we're entering spring, but it was in full bloom before winter came. Um, it reaches like a quick resolution. And then we get into the Eight of Cups with the Five of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. I think this is a real, I'm going to put it back up right when I'm done, but this is a recognition that it's almost like after the Emperor gets a little bit of distance, that's when the truth really sets in. Because I think it's because it was something that the Emperor didn't see for so long. Even when he comes into that knowing, it's like you don't believe it. Even though you don't want to believe it. Even though you know it, you don't want to believe it. The Five of Pentacles is that realization sinking in. And then the Ten of Pentacles in reverse is just that, like, whatever the Emperor was putting effort and energy into under the guise or under the blindfold of the Eight of Swords, it's just like he's not going to find it where he was in the direction that he was going. But we don't start over from scratch. We start from experience. Now we have the Ace of Cups coming in with the Six of Swords. This is him moving in a new way. Maybe he realizes again that he was so easily blindsided or blindfolded or so easily blind to something for so long because of how he approached it. It was something within him that wanted him to not see. And so when you don't want to see, it's easy to be blind. But then we have the Wheel of Fortune after that. 4, 3, 2, 1. So 8 of Swords, Death, 9 of Swords, 10 of Swords, 8 of Cups, 5 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles in reverse, Ace of Cups, 6 of Swords, Wheel of Fortune. Nothing's are different. Completely different. But also he's different. That's a lot of cards. Technically, the final card, singular, was the Emperor. So I'm just going to put all these back at the bottom of the deck and keep it moving. Emperor is going through a major shift. And again, it doesn't feel... It feels like innocent in a way. If innocent is a word to use. Did they? I love seagulls. I mean, y'all know that. I start seeing this ad on YouTube now of this lady sitting on the beach, and she's like, seagulls, the eagles of the sea. I think I sent it to you. Eagles are seagulls, the eagles of the sea. Next, I use the Lenormand. So we're going to get the final card from here. I'm so tempted to just like leave these cards on the floor now. Like a good 2/3 of the deck just fell out onto the floor as I was picking it up. Goodness. 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 Oh gosh. What? My AirPods fell on the floor. These probably are done charging now. Okay. I forgot I was charging those. I don't want to overcharge them and like kill the battery or whatever. Oh my gosh, so many cards. Who are you? The sexy man. Sexy man was trying to slide out. I already picked up the magnifying glass. Okay. I think I got all of them. The sexy man, the man holding a heart. I've never met anyone like you before. I'm sorry. That's my only go-to dramatic voice. I'll do an American one. I've never met anyone like you before. I can't. I don't know. It's just. It's. I like it. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I busted into an accent. Sometimes it just. I think I blame all the Doctor Who that I was watching. Like when I'm watching Doctor Who, I get real bad. Like I can't stop myself. But I like randomly was talking in an accent one day, practicing, and someone was like, somebody at work was like, "Whoa, I don't like that. Don't do that." I was like, "Why? What do you mean?" She's like, it's too no. It's like that voice coming out of your face and that body. No, I'm like, it's still me. I don't know what the fuss is about. Confidence is key. Confidence and commitment. The writer. I like lifted the cards to shuffle and the writer just flipped right out. Rider on her rainbow bridge. Was there not a rainbow coming out of the chimney stack in the rescue card? Rescue is on the way. Rider is on the case. Sooner than you think. Sooner than you think, but maybe not as fast as you'd hope for. Okay. 9 of Hearts. That's that 9 of Cups energy. Who's coming out with the rider? Anybody? 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 You know someone who talks like Cartman from South Park all the time. Like, is that how they talk, or do they like do it on purpose? I think sometimes too. You just like once you get into it, you kind of get stuck. You like do it without even thinking about it. What is the writer doing? I'll give it 2 more shuffles. There we go. There's a second one. Oh, bottom of the deck. Guess what's at the bottom of the deck? I'll give you a hint. It's not the sexy gentleman or the other gentleman. It's the card that's really hot today, apparently. Crossroads. Again, at the bottom of the deck. The card that came out with the rider is the well. The well at the end of the rainbow is deep. Is deep. Under crossroads. Under crossroads is the sexy gentleman. After I gave you a hint, I was like, it's not the sexy gentleman. Technically, it wasn't the sexy gentleman. But there he is. Sexy gentleman is like, are you coming to bed? Like, I'm waiting. I'm waiting on you to come. Look at how patiently he's waiting for you to come to bed. If you're into that kind of thing, if you're not, then the sexy lady is in here somewhere. But she ain't the one that's coming out today. You get a kick out of it? It's something deep. Oh, well, this might be sexy lady on the horse and the rider. And she's like, oh, you said you're waiting? You don't have to wait long. I am coming. Oh, gosh. With the well symmetry with the well imagery and symbolism, the sexy lady on the horse, the sexy man waiting for somebody to get through the crossroads. She's like, say less. I am there. This is interesting, though. Because of the well, I think of deep water and how velocity drops. And how velocity drops as we move through the water. Would the water be the veil? Is the veil the well? Is the well the veil? I want one more card, please. Oh, I said one more. The dog was behind the sexy man. The dog, the clover, and the mice. You had a visual. The dog, the clover, and the mice. The dog is definitely patiently waiting. The dog is the one that wants to play. Bottom of the deck is the magnifying glass. Again. Who's under the magnifying glass? The clocks, I think. And then the stars are behind that. So it's almost like there's a synchronization between astrological timing because of the star with the clock house. Maybe less of a synchronization of astrological timing, more of synchronicity. So it could be astrological timing. But it feels like the arrival of the rider maybe taking longer than we expected with the mice chewing on the clovers. If the mice chew up the clovers enough, you wouldn't even know that there's a patch of like that 4-leaf clover was there. It's like if enough of these minor things sort of happen and pop up in our lives, sometimes it can be easy to forget how fortunate we are with all of those minor occurrences. But we're not forgotten with the dog. Not forgotten at all. It's like the arrival of the rider is gonna match the timing of like other things. It's like the universe will sing its arrival. So you probably be seeing signs and synchronicities like crazy. Like crazy. thought somebody was in the deck. Who was in the deck? Who was in the box? The compass. Wow. There was no sense of direction at all. A sense of direction wasn't even possible. But we still made that journey, didn't we? You still made it to the door to spirit. You still did all that balancing and everything else. That might be why, it's taken a little longer to get through the water, though, because, but it's coming. They're coming. They just got a little lost. Things get lost in translation. And, if you just say Aruba, somebody thought you meant Aruba, Mexico, not Aruba, Pensacola. I don't know, bro. Like, oh, I thought you meant like Paris, Georgia. I didn't know you meant Paris, France. It's like, yeah, what other kind of Paris is there? Paris, Georgia. Duh, I just told you. Is Paris, Georgia like an actual thing? I don't know. I am curious though, but we get there. And I think that probably also plays on that patience a lot. Or that's why patience is so important with the intention of the egg and the strength. Because there isn't a guide there are many holy scripture and text, and they all have truths encoded in them. But the unraveling of those truths, the interpretation, the living of it, it's like, you know, do spiritual journeys come with guidebooks? Yeah, we can say sure. Does life? No. There are some that can teach you like how to live and who to be, but like all of the living in between, we do dig, you know? And we still get where we're going. We still made it. You don't need a compass. Maybe that's why the compass wasn't there. The divine is like, you don't need a compass. Oh, girl, that's a lot, but it's a bonus card. How to use these cards. It's a title card. I went out of order. No, I didn't. These were next. This was the I am here, hug me. You are here, hug me. What if the you are here, hug me is like when you go beyond the door of spirit and you're like Archangel Michael, and Archangel Michael's like, I'm right here, bring it in, and you're like, oh my gosh. Ah. Ooh. Oh goodness. I was not prepared. How to use these cards. There's no wrong way to use these cards, laws notwithstanding. But here is our suggestion. Turn the cards face down on a table in front of you and shuffle them the way a 3-year-old would. As you mix the cards around, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and silently ask that the cards give you a message that you will benefit from in this moment. Then reach in and pull a single card, confident that this is the one card for you, at least for now until the next time you pull a card. Read your affirmator, and for greatest potency, read it out loud. Say it as much as you like, then say it again. If you draw a bonus card, relish in its wisdom and use its gifts at will, for you have been bestowed with great and mighty powers reserved only for 10 cards in this deck. What fortune! I actually thought this was a bonus card. It's not the title card, it's like the instructions card. Speaking of Paris. Trash Panda Tarot. Oh, snap. So the pleasure card was in reverse. We have a bonus card. How fortunate. So 3 cards came out. Speaking of second chakra Archangel Ariel, we have pleasure and sensuality. So yeah, this ain't it's 18 plus by virtue of not being for minors, but this ain't that kind of stream. Oof. The sexy man just said he wanted a hug. Pleasure. I give myself permission to feel pleasure, and I let that pleasure rush into my life in a decadent display of over the top abundance. Then I realize that pleasure has been waiting at my door for a long time. It's just that pleasure doesn't knock on doors because loud noises aren't super pleasant. That was in reverse. Maybe pleasure is like banging on your door right now. Like, I am waiting. You want this. You've been praying for this. Take it. Sensuality. Sorry. Embracing sensuality. I don't know why I can't say this word today. Embracing sensuality doesn't necessarily mean you're a middle aged swinger. It simply means you're savoring one of the coolest aspects of being alive, sensory input in this Taurus season. It's time to get decadent and reward yourself with gifts for the senses. You could drop a wad of cash on champagne and chocolate, or you could tune in and enjoy the incredible gifts around you. The taste of an orange, the sounds of the forest, the texture of corduroy. I love corduroy. Don't come for me. I don't know your life. The point is, it's time to savor whatever your senses can grab hold of, even if it means you're being sensual. Gross. Why does it say gross? And it's a bonus card. Maybe with pleasure in reverse. Pleasure in reverse with sensuality upright could be this. It's almost like when we're dieting. Sometimes when we diet, we deprive ourselves of things for the sake of being healthier. It may also be a connotation that we have on sensuality. With sensuality, it's easy to go right towards. It could just be the cable guy. True. Yeah. Use your discernment. If it's the cable guy, then they want to look presentable. um, 1 second. Um, we deprive ourselves of certain things in a diet, and with sensuality, like it's easy for the brain to go to like intimacy, but it's like all five senses, listening to things that are pleasing, feeling pleasant textures, tasting pleasant tastes. I'm not mature enough for this. Um, Smelling pleasant smells. It's like it's finding comfort in the body, in the experience, beyond physical intimacy, beyond intercourse. It's a challenge to feel inside of the body outside of physical intercourse, to engage the senses richly and deeply in different ways, to experiment a little bit, you know, to experience sensuality outside of basic carnal pleasure. Because there are many things in this experience to enjoy. And the more spaces that we find enjoyment in this experience, the more places on earth and in our lives that we can be so connected and in the body, um, the better. It feels like there's some kind of like anchoring or grounding in that, which is why it's important to get it outside of sex, which is why sensuality is more than just that. We're all adults here. Resilience is at the bottom of the deck. Sticks and stones may break my bones, and unkind words can somehow drain every bit of joy and color from my once rosy life. But nothing can ever permanently damage the real me. I love myself, I cherish myself, and I vow to remember that I'm always camped out in the depths of myself, even when I don't feel like very much of myself. I got caught up on depth, right? I'm like, because I just say it, but I ain't trying to say it. I'm trying to be respectful. The angels are like, congratulations. You don't need us to do this anymore. You're ascending into whatever the healer of the ages, embodied spark of the divine flowering is. Go crazy, use protection or don't, healer of the ages, girl. That's a 3D thing. We don't have those in the 5D. Who am I ask? Who am I? I got the wrong box. Where's that? Oh, I was like, where's the backseat? I was trying to be respectful. But yeah, it's like there are many, many, many things for us to experience outside of maybe also it's just like, again, don't be afraid to get a little adventurous. There may be things that you enjoy that you don't know, that you haven't experienced yet. And those things are waiting for you to enjoy them as much as you are waiting. They're waiting to be enjoyed by you as much as you're waiting to enjoy them. And I think that's why pleasure was in reverse. So that we broaden our horizons, so that we don't go for what is like easy. So we don't be afraid to get creative in ways. So last but never least, the Enchanted Map Oracle. I just saw unexpected visitor or unexpected visitors. Enchanted Map Oracle. It's been 2 hours. Oh my gosh. See, I told you I could turn a 20-minute video on it because the spread was like super straightforward. But sometimes you just gotta whatever anyway. All right, Enchanted Map Oracle. But they're feeling oddly silent as the screen distorts. Oh, there we go. 2 cards. 3, 4, 5. Oh my gosh! I keep I'm moving the card to pick it up, and it reveals another card and another card and another card. It's 5 cards. The bottom of the deck is Ghostlands. There we go. Nope, you're only focusing up here? Okay. You know what? For stubborn cameras, this is why I use OBS. Not the only reason. But if you go into OBS and you click on your video source and you click configure video and you go into camera control, if you uncheck the autofocus and then check it again, it refocuses the video. Oh my gosh, crazy, right? I know. That's a little trick I picked up. Ghostlands is the bottom of the deck. So Balancing Act number 11 came out. I don't think I've seen. I thought I saw about. Yeah, I did see Balancing Act because it was the 11 for the 22, 33, 44. Who is this? Who is this? I see the ship on this bubble that looks like a ring. It looked like a ring to me. And there's this figure holding this line. The reason why I ask who this is, because we saw the ship earlier today. And we know where the ship was headed. The ship is also facing the same direction. This is a U. Okay, you know what? This is too many cards. I didn't ask for 5 cards in the final message. Of course it's the Field of Dreams. I didn't ask for 5 cards. I only asked for 1. So we're gonna put it back. I'll show you the cards though. So I was like, oh, 2 cards. So Balancing Act came out. And then I noticed Field of Dreams was also on the table. I moved like Field of Dreams to like slide it and then pick it up, and it reveals this card. And I slide it and it reveals this card. It was 4 cards. Field of Dreams, the Mountain, Golden Palace again, and then Magic Prayer, the 23 and the 32. The 32 that was the door to spirit. Magic Prayer, Golden Palace, Mountain, Field of Dreams. Through the space of dreams, something is communicated. It came out this way. Through the space, or through the field of dreams, something of this Golden Palace is communicated, or the Golden Palace is revealed through dreams as the answer to this magic prayer that we can't, or that we haven't seen the whatever to in real life. And who's holding the line so that the ship can like get wherever it's going? With the ghost lands at the bottom of the deck. Ghost lands in the mountain. If you use it, whatever, you wouldn't think it's happening. You would not think. You would think ain't nothing changed, just as if time has stood still for years. I don't know. That was more cards than I asked for. I'm just gonna put it back. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I had a dream. I'm looking at the lady and I'm like, who is this? And I'm looking at her and then I'm like, oh. I had a dream. We're taking all of the context out of the dream. I had a dream. And in the dream, I see this lady. And then at the end of the dream, it's like, okay, we're going to go get on the ship. We're going to get on this boat. And there was a boat on the card that the lady was holding. That's why I was like, oh. And then the Field of Dreams card was there. And I was like, I gotta, you're funny. Oh, I should have just took the last message. Sad Embrace is the card that came out. And Sacred Pool is at the bottom of the deck. The Sacred Pool, obviously, because of Sad Embrace, feels like a puddle of tears. 45, 47. Where's the 46 in between? I'll look and see what 46 is. Wait, I should know what 46 is. No, I shouldn't. Because it was the 43 came out, the 44 was in the Lenormand, the 45 was in this deck, then there was the 42, and I feel like I've seen 41. Yeah, 42 is wide open. Bouncing around, hitting all the 40s. The 2040s was such a great time. The 2040s was amazing. Oh my gosh. I was in my Venus Mahadasha. I had exited the Rahu. Who is this? Coming Apart is 46. I almost thought this was Balancing Act. But look at these ladies and look at their hair. What was the Balancing Act? It was like, it looked like it was holding a strand of hair that ship was. Girl, I don't know. 46 is in between Ride the Wave and Gentle Gardener. The Gentle Gardener and Ride the Wave. And then Encouragement, 54 for that 45. Encouragement for the Sad Embrace. And then under Encouragement is Making a Choice. And it's very 22 Crossroads, which is why I mentioned it. We're being encouraged to make a choice. with the gentle gardener and ride the wave, it feels like it feels like um it's like we're in a boat and there's no sail, there's no wind. It's like the Six of Swords energy, but you take the ferryman out of it. And so it's just the person or the people like grieving as they're in this boat. There's no sail to catch the wind. There's no wind. It's very still, but the boat is like slowly rocking down the river, like very slowly. For some reason, that makes me think of the pleasure card when it said it doesn't knock loudly because loud noises aren't pleasurable. There's such a like somberness to this. I didn't necessarily think we'd be ending on a somber note. No. Thanks for the honorary inclusion. That's like the one thing I know from football. The one thing I know from football. Woo, 42. Hut, hut. I don't know what it means, but this is so, again, like so somber. I don't really want to leave it on this, but I don't have to. Okay. For who that is for, if that resonates with anyone, maybe it's this like, it's almost like this we're always getting where we're going. Even in the moments that we don't see it, even in those times that we don't feel it, it's very like you're never alone. Spirit is always there with you. So even in those moments, even in those times that you feel that you are, know that you're not. Even when you think you may be regressing or moving backwards, know that you're gently still rocking towards where you're going. And in time, things will pick up. But it's like it's riding the wave, but you're riding a gentle wave, right? It's not this huge whatever. I think a lot of times when we see like ride the wave, we anticipate it being like a colossal tsunami wave and not just, those super gentle waves that just, come in. That's the wave. If that's the wave that you're on, that's the wave that you're on. The sea will pick up, the ocean will pick up. There will be larger waves that come in their time. But right now, it's like if it's not that time, if you're not in that season, allow yourself to be where you are. It does no one a favor by you rushing. You're not doing yourself favors. You're not doing wherever you're going favors. No one wants to get salmonella from the raw egg that's in the uncooked brownie. You know what I mean? No matter how ooey gooey and delicious that uncooked brownie might be at the time. For some people, maybe it is worth it, If salmonella is worth it to you, then go for it. But if that's the case, it wouldn't be rushing for you because you'd still be in your own time. You know what I mean? All right, Enchanted Map Oracle. Oh gosh, 5 cards, 6 cards just slid out of my hand. No. Well, when I got one card, I didn't want the one card. It's like I give you 5 cards and you say it's too many. I give you one card and you say it's not enough. Well, when the one card is Sad Embrace, I don't want to. Enchanted Map Oracle. Okay, I'm feeling it. I feel it. Oh gosh. Thank you for not fully hitting the floor. Field of Dreams, number 21. This, it feels like it plays on that sad embrace and the sacred. Like the sacred pool felt like a puddle of tears cried from that sad embrace. But it's like Abraham Hicksian, like when you know what you don't want, you're sending rockets of desire for what you do want. And it's like the field of dreams those tears, that sacred pool, fertilizes, nurtures, waters the field of dreams. And protecting treasure, 39. There's a difference of 18, which is the moon. And then listening, which is 8, is behind that. The divine is listening when we cry those tears. Um, but there's something in here. I'll just leave this with you. I'll leave you with this. And then compass. The compass was in this deck. We didn't have the compass in the Lenormand, but we got it in the Enchanted Map Oracle that I pulled because of the I Am Here, Hug Me. You may not know where to find it, but it knows where to find you. There you go. That's pretty. So again, I hope you are all having an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment with all that you make your reality. I hope you're acting in alignment with all that you make your reality. By that, I mean, if you're manifesting opportunities, I hope you're taking those opportunities. If you're manifesting liberation and freedom and exits from situations that you don't want to be in, I hope you allow yourself the surrendering of that as house is being cleaned. Because if you ain't got to clean your own house, woo, you are doing something that I wish I was also doing. Um, but I hope that whatever you need along your path, journey, and way you find in a way that is helpful for you. And when it comes your time to do more, be more for others, in a way that aligns with that version of you that you're healing into, I hope you allow yourself the time and grace that you need along that process. Right? It's taken a journey to get to where you are. Congratulations. I hope you celebrate yourself. I hope that too. I hope that you can look back and appreciate all the things that you've done and all the people who have helped you along the way, of course, and the divine for being there, of course. But I hope you also grow to appreciate the efforts that you've put in, the choices and decisions that you've made, the things that you've actually done. Because options can be presented all day. Things can be presented all day. We can stay and sit and wallow. And even if we are in a moment of stillness, I hope that you can allow yourself whatever you need in that moment. And with that, I'll catch y'all later. Thank you all for being here. I'm hungry, and this was fun. This was like actually kind of nice. I'm excited to see how this plays out. In what way? I speak Mercury and Pisces. I experience life through the art of metaphor. And sometimes through what is the opposite of like satire? Sometimes in stark reality. And there is much in between. So take it as it resonates. If it resonates, always, always, always use your own intuition, discernment, guidance, knowledge, and wisdom. And as you progress further along your spiritual journey, I hope the realization of how your relationship with the divine is changing. I hope that you are open to allowing that to blossom and grow and flourish in your new phase as you are no longer who you used to be, where you used to be, needing the things that you needed in the way that you needed them. Because I don't know what that's going to look like for anybody. It's not my job to know. If I do have a job, it's just to say anything and everything that I've already said. It is now your job to actively engage your discernment and parse through what is yours and how it's for you and what is not, and let it go. Anyway. And with that, I will catch you all later. Thank you, Patrick Livingston Seagull! I am honored to be an honorary Brit and an honorary Seagull, to be an honorary British Seagull. Because the Seagulls I haven't experienced too many Seagulls anywhere besides that one Seagull that was on top of a car in a parking lot in Michigan. Honored to be a Seagull from I don't know, those seagulls, I really bonded. I feel like it was the same two seagulls. I would get up and eat my breakfast in the morning and stare at the window, and there they would be looking at me. I wonder if they miss me now that I'm gone. All right, I'll catch you later. Bye.